Hemp Wizard product. Hemp Wizard products are proudly used by former New England Patriots linebacker Brandon Spikes, Suicide Silence guitarist Mark Haleman, Canadian actor Jackson Rowe, Mr. Grimm and Noctis the drummers of Walking Corpse Syndrome, guitarist and vocalist Bub Heaston and bassist Ted Wilson of Black Sasquatch, guitarist and vocalist Adam Hines of Fester, Aaron Witzel, guitarist of Cropsy Maniac, Roy Boy, host of the Licking County Metalheads podcast, Crash Fistfight and Maxine Maxwell, host of the Musicians Hangout podcast, Jeff Towlinski, host of the Hard Rockin' Sports Show. You too can give your beard the magic touch and treat your skin to the finest. Visit hempwizard.net today and use code 20OFF to save 20% off of your entire order.
That's my cue to start the show. Welcome to another live edition of the Hard Rockin' Sports Show, live from high top Hard Rockin' Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your 3-hour weekly get-together. We bring you all the biggest news from around the world of hard rock, heavy metal, and, of course, the wide world of sports. And welcome to Thursday night, August the 17th, in the year of our good Lord 2023, and the Hard Rockin' Sports Show. And I hope you guys have had a great week. It's been a good week around here at the Hard Rockin' Sports Show and in the Florio family in general. So lots of good stuff happening this weekend. My son's getting married this weekend, so all good news there. But lots of good stuff to talk about in the world of sports and music. I'm hoping you guys are going to be sticking around for 2 hours with Jeff and myself. We got a lot to do. We got a lot to say. We're going to talk a little Jets, Giants, Yankees, Mets. We'll talk Hulk Hogan. Let's see. We got some NFL news. We got some Pantera news. We got some other stuff to talk about tonight. We'll talk a little bit about The Blind Side and the controversy running around with that movie and show. Why? I see why. That's why. Okay. We'll get to a lot of good stuff tonight. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys have had a great week. Let's see. Did we miss any? No holidays. I can't believe the end of summer is here. You know, I as I stare around the new Hard Rockin' Sports Studios, I'm reminded, because Top Shelf has one of these days I'll show you around the room and all the stuff, and but it's the transition. Top Shelf has all the baseball memorabilia, and then you drop down and it's football. And it's really can't believe the summer is here and gone. Things at work are so busy that I just haven't had a summer, haven't had a break, other than some short trips down to Florida for personal reasons. But short of that, my wife and I have not really enjoyed the summer. So, but this is what it's all about, and we're just I'm out there doing my thing and staying busy, and we're all everybody's healthy and happy, and that's a good news. So again, lots to talk about tonight on the Hard Rockin' Sports Show. So stick around. I'm going to get Jeff up in a second. I don't know if my dad's going to be on or not tonight. I did send him a link, but I had a family thing going on, and I don't know if he's back, if he's jumping on or not. But I'm sure Jeff and I will keep you guys entertained and all that good stuff. So sit back, relax. If you got anything you want to put up there, hey, there's my man Adam Hines and the boys and my man from Fester. So that means the show's officially kicked off. Adam's here. We'll just wait for Frankie Catalano to pop up. And I tell you, well, let's get Jeff up and running. Let's get the show kicked off. And sit back and relax, folks. Here we go. So one thing I will tell you, there will be no big announcements on this show tonight. I am banning big announcements. So if there's any big announcements out there, we are banning them from the show. So we'll start with that. Then let's get on my buddy, 40 years, and the backbone of the Hard Rocket Sports Show, my buddy, Hefe. What's up, Hefe?
No, your loss.
My loss?
Your loss. More hints were fucking pasted all over Facebook last night.
I didn't see anything.
Even the blind saw them.
I did not see anything.
Okay.
I did not see. I don't know where you get your what hints. You throw hints around. You must be putting them in there in Braille because only blind people can see them. I don't know where you.
I don't know. Matter of fact, when I put it up, I wasn't ready to do that, to put it up, and I was like, "He's gonna know. He's gonna know." And then you're like, "I didn't see it. I didn't see
anything."
That's exactly what you look like too when you say it. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Well, I know he's seen it. I didn't see it.
Hold on. So, all right. So I saw the Ramones thing. Does it mean that the Ramones are coming back? Is that your big announcement?
You know what? You banned announcements, so I can't say.
I'm just.
You gotta lift the ban.
Is that the big announcement? Like they were waiting on.
You have to lift the ban. I can't say.
No, if I lift the ban, you're gonna go, I'm not ready to announce it yet. That's what's coming. So I'm not gonna be that dumb to say, Jeff, all the big announcements are allowed.
All right.
So,
okay.
I mean, if that's the big announcement you couldn't tell me, then I got a major problem with that.
No, well, listen, it's not for that. It's
All right, I'm gonna lift the ban on big announcements. Do what you want.
I'm not ready to announce anything.
I just said that's exactly what I was expecting. Dickish move. If that's the big announcement, that Buckeye beard battle, Ted, you're gonna have to be a little more specific on the Buckeye beard battle.
I know a little bit about that because I seen Mike Weissman and he's going there this weekend, I believe, or very soon. It's going to be like a battle of the bands. I wish that we were closer because I would have definitely thrown my hat in the ring and would have loved to have played and participate in that. Nice. But, listen, unfortunately, Ohio is just a couple states too far to the west for a weekend trip. So
it's not that far a drive, to be honest with you.
Well, listen, I'm texting back and forth with a guy. I got new rims for my truck. Did I tell you?
You did mention last time I saw you told me you were in the middle of either getting them or you were ready to get them, but go ahead. Yep.
I got them, and the bottom line is that I'm selling the old pair.
Okay.
And a friend of mine actually sold them for me. And bottom line is that this guy lives in Long Island, and he texts me and he's like, what about it? And I'm like, Staten Island. That's it. I'm not traveling. I'm sorry. And that was for $600, which is not a lot of money. I understand, but it's $600 more than I had today at this time. You know what I mean? But why not? But I'm not going to travel and waste gas and toll money. But it is what it is.
Okay, so you got nice new rims for the truck. So the truck is.
Yeah, that's not part of the surprise.
I mean, I'm looking back at your Facebook post. If that's the two hints you're talking about, huge hints. I mean, all right. I mean, at some point, I mean, just make the damn announcement.
Who's the new? I don't understand. What are you talking about? What two hints?
Oh
what
my
are you
God.
talking about?
All right, hold on.
What are you talking about?
Do I have to bring them up? Do I have to do this? Is that what you're telling me?
I wouldn't put anything up on the screen.
You wouldn't?
No, I don't think that's a smart idea. I don't know what you're saying, what you're looking at.
Well, this one was from 6 days ago.
And it said?
I didn't say anything, but it's a pretty clear hint to me.
What is it?
I will show you in a minute. I'm gonna show you online right here. I don't want to do that. That's too much work. Okay, here we go. Share screen. So I guess I've just figured out exactly what we're about to get a big announcement. The question is going to be, who is the new members of the Ramorons that will be coming back to the show?
That is a cartoon for Commando. That has nothing at all to do with.
So it looks like the Ramones. Sure, it looks like the Ramones to me.
Oh, that's the Ramones.
Right. Okay. And then last night's big hint, I'm assuming, was this one.
Well, actually, that's if you look at it, August 16th, 1974, the Ramones played their first public concert at
Yeah.
CBGB. And if you go a little further down or a little further up, whichever way, it says 50 years ago today, New York City music history.
Yes.
Just bringing up a historic fact.
I got you, but there's a reason why, and if these are the nuggets you're leaving around for people to pick up on, then I get it. I don't understand the.
I didn't say anything about nuggets, man.
I see nuggets.
Anything about nuggets.
I see nuggets. So again, we'll wait and see. Again, let's see. So Saturday at the Hub is the Buckeye Beard Battle. With live bands brought to you by Hemp Wizard. That's great news. I wish we could be part of that, and I wish that maybe they can live stream this event. Although I will be busy Saturday night, so I will not be able to see it. But maybe I catch a replay of it. And if you guys are all going to be there, please take some pictures and vids and post them so we can kind of catch up with what you guys are doing. And good luck to everybody competing in the Buckeye Beard Battle.
Yeah.
So. Maybe that'll be something we'll do someday, Jeff. Maybe we'll have our own version of the Buckeye Beard Battle out in Staten, Italy. Get a couple sponsors, throw a couple prizes up there, and
somebody that we were speaking about yesterday.
You and I, okay.
I just saw the announcement for his situation, which is he is no more. It was wow.
It was actually announced on Facebook.
Somebody put it. I'm going to take a screenshot and send you. That is horrible. That is.
Is it under his page?
I don't know. But I don't want to. I don't want to say anything.
Yeah, I got it. I'm on his page. I see it's the obit for it. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. Oh, that's so sad. I don't know who that person is, but thank you for posting that. And boy, that is so sad.
I think we need tonight's show should be dedicated to that memory.
I would agree with that. I mean, you can go do it. Go ahead.
Well, unfortunately, we have another show to dedicate, and that is to an old friend of ours from years ago, Santino Scarcella. Somebody we knew from the neighborhood that was taken away way too young. From what I hear, cancer, but it is confirmed now, and what a shame, man. He was a pretty stand-up guy, good guy, and that picture is horrible to see.
Yeah, that I have to tell you, I could, and no offense, obviously, I always liked the man and all that, but that's hard to look at. Not that he looks terrible or any reason, but it doesn't look like Santino, and he just looks old. And boy, it's funny. I say funny. I'm sorry, it's the wrong term. It's a strange thing. His brother passed a few years back. I would think well under 50 years old, right?
I don't know.
Santino's our age. He's got to be past at least 5 years.
I would think that, yeah. I really don't know.
Yeah, and his sister passed away a year or so ago. It's just, I don't know, sad coincidence. I don't know, but boy, not a nice family. Didn't know everybody really well, but knowing Santino as well as I did as a kid and his brother, really nice guys, Jeff. I mean, and you probably knew him a little better than me, being that from that end of the neighborhood. Did they go to St. Joseph's with you?
Yes,
I would imagine they would have, right? I mean, lived around the corner from it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So I mean, how far back did you go in school with Santino and his brother? They're younger than us, so they'd be a couple years behind you, right?
Well, he's 55, so he was a year behind us.
Yeah, he was in my group.
Yeah.
Hey, Frankie Catalano.
What's up, Frank? Frank, you may even remember Santino through your Rosebank ties. I don't know, Santino Scarcella.
Yeah.
If you may know who he is. It's a shame. He was, I hate to use the terminology, he was one of the good guys, but he was a genuine guy.
Yeah, really
nice
good
guy
guy.
and everything else. And it is a shame that what happened. We don't know all the details. We just know that he got sick, and there's a write-up here. it's something about I'm going to have to read this later without a doubt, but it's something that this person evidently dated Santino.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's only been the last few years that we ran into him at one of our benefits shows that I had any sort of conversation with the man or whatever. I would say probably by the time I was in my early 20s, I probably hadn't seen Santino. So you're probably talking 30 years. And I bumped into him at one of our shows. And, we were never close as kids. We were friendly. I wouldn't never say we were friends, but we were friendly. A guy in the neighborhood that if you saw him, you didn't have a bad word to say about him. I mean, that's the way I looked at it. Again, a genuine nice kid growing up. And the few times I got to talk to him, whether it was online or at the show, really seemed like just a good dude, big baseball fan, big music fan, and just gone way too soon. And guys, it really kicks you in the nuts when you're our age and you see guys like that who are now, we're talking about in the past tense, and it makes you wake up and go, is everything I'm doing every day worth it? Am I not, and you can't live that way. Honestly, you can't. But boy, oh boy, Jeff, it makes me tell you the truth. It does make me happy that you and I do this every Thursday, that we talk as much as we do during the week, whether we break each other's balls or having a regular conversation. And the fact that we do this every week, and people like Adam and Frank and Mike Weissman, what's up, Michael? And all the guys pop in and we kind of stay connected. It really makes me value what we do here every Thursday night.
Yeah, I hear you. We have a group of friends that spend some time with us every Thursday, and it's definitely appreciated.
Yep.
Regardless of where they are, and it's nice to for them to pop in. And you're right, man. We're in that age bracket now where you just, unfortunately, you never know. And listen, it is what it is. Sadly, I don't want to say it that way, and I feel terrible saying it, but listen. Unfortunately, another one gone.
Yeah.
All you could do is keep the memories of him that you had close. That's it. I mean, I knew who he was just like you.
Yeah.
It's a shame. As you get older, people, you drift apart and everything else. And he was a good guy, man. It's a shame. You got to feel bad for he had to watch his family go at early ages, and off he's gone.
Yeah, it's a sad moment. And again, we'll dedicate the show to Santino Scarcella and his memory. And my biggest memories of Santino was playing softball. We used to, for a couple of summers that I can remember, we would get together with our group of guys to play his group of guys, and we had some fun. We probably had some arguments and fights and some great softball games over a couple of years. And it was definitely a neighborhood thing, and it's just a memory from my childhood that I'll treasure. And stuff you don't see today, Jeff. You don't drive by, playgrounds and ball fields and see a bunch of neighborhood guys playing softball or baseball against each other like they did when we grew up. And I think that's a tremendous shame. And it was some of the best memories I have is going to the park on a Tuesday afternoon in the middle of summer, and playing 2 or 3 softball games, and then going home and changing and meeting up for a little time at night. And, that was our childhood, at least our teenage years. And, Santino was a piece of that.
Yeah, it definitely was, man. And it's sad. Sad. I know him. I mean, I didn't hang out with him much and everything else, but it's somebody I know since he's like 7, 8 years old,
Yeah, it's just, it's one of those things where there's people in your life that you look back and you say, I've known that guy that long. I mean, that's, whether you consider them friends or you're friendly or you knew each other, that's somebody that's been in your life one way or the other for 50 years. I mean, it's just weird. So, but listen, let's get to the show. Let's have some fun. Jeff, let's start the way we always start. Jeff, how was your week?
Well, it was all right. I got a tooth taken out since... Wait, that was last
week before. Yeah, that was the week before. Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty much healed.
Okay, it's good to hear.
I'm eating again normally, as you can
Ah.
see. I never lost anything, so. But it's all good.
Good. All right. So, hey, to start off this with what's up my life. I was listening to a guy get interviewed the other day. He was a former Marine, I believe a police officer, but don't quote me on that. And he's part of this group called the Native American Guardians Association, and they are a group of American Indians or descendants of, and they are demanding that the Washington Redskins reinstate, or now they're the Commanders or the Washington, whatever they are, and they are demanding that they reinstate the name Redskins because they say it's a slap in the face and that the term Redskin is actually basically a warrior's moniker, and they feel it's a slight to the Indian nation that a few woke assholes, as he said, would take that privilege away. And they have a petition up online that's out. I've got already 90,000 signatures to it. Jeff, what do you think of it? And do you think this has any influence over the new ownership of the Washington football team, now the Washington Commanders, that would have any chance of reinstating this?
I want to know if this Facebook page could be traced back to Daniel Snyder by any chance.
I don't think so.
That's one thing. Second of all, yes, I've heard the Redskins used in many different, two different things, such as, like you just said, warrior, and as a derogatory term where we have to get rid of these Redskins. And the bottom line is that it was, how could you put it, period appropriate word usage.
Yep. That's a good way to say it. Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Just like when you refer to the black race, there was blacks, there was Negroes, there was African Americans, there were colored. There were a whole variety. It seems like every once in a while we have to change the name because somebody doesn't like the idea of being something. And listen, it is what it is. I just think that it's kind of sad that after all of these years of an organization being named that, that, what does that mean that we have to change everything? Like, what's next? Is the Green Bay Packers next when somebody puts fudge in front of it? That we're not going to be able to call them the Green Bay Fudge Packers? Tampa Bay fucking ears, or you're one letter away from a disaster. I just think that it's time to, it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. Matter of fact, let me tell you something. At work, I questioned something at work this week. Okay. We have to do these online classes. And the online classes that we had to take, one of them was LGBTQ, whatever the fuck it is. I have no idea. So I said to my boss, I was like, I got to ask you a question. I said, I know we got to do this. I said, but I got to ask a question. I'm like, why do I have to do it? I says, suppose I don't agree with this. I says, why do I need special training to potentially work with someone that falls into one of these categories? Well, this is the new initiative here, and we want to make everyone feel welcome, this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, that's fine. I says, I understand that. I says, are they being trained to work with me? Like I'm being trained to work with them?
Good question.
I says, does anybody give them training at all on how to act in front of a straight male? Is a straight male, a straight white male, a straight white Christian male, as that, even though I don't follow religion, but I'm just putting myself into the categories that I fall in.
Sure.
Okay. Do we have any right, and where is our place? We have Pride Month. We had Black History Month. We have all these different Pride months, whatever it is, but you cannot be proud to be white. If you are, you're racist. And I feel as though that I'm not really a racist person. I've gone out of my way to help people of other races, whether it was black or the Chinese, as Asian, whatever it is. Okay. I don't go out of my way to try to make people feel, uncomfortable. There's people that are of my race that I can't stand. And I would do something for somebody else before I would do something for one of them. So I don't feel as though that I'm racist. I know you're not. I've known you for 1,000 years. I know you're not.
Yep.
Okay. And matter of fact, I would say that the people that we hung out with as kids, none of them turned out that way.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
I would agree with that 100%.
I just don't. I'm uncomfortable with the point. Like I have to be educated on how to treat people. I mean, come on, bro, you got to be kidding me. And then when it carries over into sports and entertainment and everything else, it's just the line has to be drawn. Did you know? And I'm glad you brought this up. And I don't mean to go on a rant.
No, go for it.
I have to tell you this much too, because if not, I'm going to forget, and then we'll never get it out there. I was looking up somebody's baseball stats the other day, and I can't remember who it was. So I hope it comes up to me quickly. Okay. And they started off their career with the Cleveland. Oh, Dennis Eckersley.
Okay.
He started off his career, I believe, with the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Do you know that on wherever it is website I went to, the stats are listed as the Guardians?
I did not know that. You know what? I'm going to look up baseballreference.com because that's where I would go. I'm curious to see.
And now, listen, I could see if they had it listed as Cleveland, but they had it listed as the Guardians. He did not play for the Guardians. He was never a member of the Guardians. He played for the Cleveland Indians.
That's very true. So it says Cleveland. No, well, Baseball Reference still hasn't played for the Cleveland Indians.
Well, so, that's when he where he played. He played at the Cleveland Indians, just like as if a guy played for the Senators or the Colt 45s or some of these other teams that no longer exist in Major League Baseball. They have their, I mean, now they were taken over by other teams, so their records and their time on those leagues and those teams are absorbed by other teams, but he played for the Cleveland Indians. And if you look at some old-time baseball cards, these other guys are still listed as playing for those old-time organizations. They don't turn around and change it. I think the Colt 45 turned out to be the Houston Astros or something like that. They were only around.
That's funny. Now it's funny. I went to his Wikipedia page, Jeff.
Yeah.
And it says that he played he pitched in Major League Baseball for the Cleveland Indians, Boston Red Sox, Chicago Cubs. But if you click on Cleveland Indians, it comes up Cleveland Guardians with their new logo. So even though it says he played for the Cleveland, I could put it up on the screen, show it to you.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Maybe everybody else didn't see it.
Wikipedia can, if you sign up for Wikipedia, you could do edits to the pages. You know that, right?
Yes, you can edit other people's pages. Yes, I do know that.
So this is nothing more than I see that.
See, it says Cleveland Indians on the page.
Yeah.
But if I go to Cleveland Indians, it comes up Guardians.
Yeah.
So you're 100%. That is really absolutely fucking retarded.
Do me a favor, please. If you could go back to that Cleveland Guardian page, right? Click on the Cleveland Guardians. And just please see if it makes any mention of them being previously named the Cleveland Indians.
Let's see.
While you do that, I just got to put my air up a little bit.
Wow, I don't think it does. Look at this. The Cleveland Guardians, American Purpose. The Guardians compete in American League Baseball. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Wow. Okay, you want to hear what it says?
Sure.
They chose the name Cleveland. Now, this is way down. It's really never mentions it till this point. It goes following Cap LaJolie's departure after 1914. Club owner Charles Summers requested that baseball writers choose a new name. They chose the name Cleveland Indians, allegedly a tribute of the nickname the fans gave to the Cleveland Spiders. Allegedly a tribute. While Louis Sosa, a Native American, was playing for the team. That name stuck and remained in use for more than a century. Common nicknames for the Indians were the Tribe and the Wahoos, and the latter referring to their longtime Chief Wahoo, which, by the way, I'm sporting tonight.
Nice.
Yes, I'm going completely unwoke tonight. After the Indians' name came under criticism as part of the Native American mascot controversy. Did you know there was a Native American mascot controversy?
No, I did not.
Oh, Jeff, we missed it. We missed the Native American mascot controversy. The team adopted the Guardians name following the 2021 season. Let's see. I don't. So it definitely references the name Cleveland Indians, but just the one time so far. Just trying to see if it. Yeah, it kind of stays away from using the name Cleveland Indians at that point. So that's the only reference, and it's an alleged tribute to Indians. So yeah, Cleveland Guardians team, and that's really it. So yeah, funny. Wow, wow, amazing. Wow.
Now the Atlanta Braves are still known as the Atlanta Braves, right?
Atlanta Braves are still there. Chicago Blackhawks are still there. The Kansas City Chiefs are still there. So those teams have not been gone. And I have to tell you the truth, I don't understand why is Cleveland Indian a derogatory term? Like it's a thing,
Well,
it's a
it wasn't.
person, it's a race, it's something.
I remember when that first came into play, and it wasn't so much that the Cleveland Indians was a derogatory term as much as it was Chief Wahoo, a derogatory figure and cartoonish
Yes.
depiction of a brave and
Which I understand. If you want to tell me you want to get rid of the
this
Chief
team,
Wahoo thing, I get it, but it's ridiculous.
this team went above and beyond and turned around and wiped out the team continuously. One more thing, if just keep that page handy while we're talking about this. What year was their first year in Major League Baseball?
Hold on a second. I
know that they got to be nearing, if not over the 100-year mark, but I just got a question.
Yes, well, it's 1904, but let me double check that again. Cleveland Guardians. Okay. Up there, Wikipedia page.
Is that true, Frank? Bob Hope owned the Cleveland Indians?
Oh, that's interesting. I think he was at one point a minority owner of that team. Okay, so Jeff, they were established. Cleveland Guardians franchise originated in 1894 as the Grand Rapids Rippers, a minor league team. The team relocated to Cleveland in 1900 and was called the Cleveland Lakeshores.
All right, so what do they acknowledge as their first year in Major League Baseball?
Let's see. Okay, they're established a Major League franchise in 1901.
Okay, so 1901. So you're talking about a team that's 122 years old?
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason I'm asking this is because what happens when they hit 125 years old?
Good question.
Okay, so now that's a pretty big, pretty big anniversary to be, celebrating. Do they celebrate and say that the Cleveland Guardians have been in existence since, whatever, or like what happens there? Because for most of their time as a franchise, they were known as the Cleveland Indians. And now it's just curious to see what happens. How do they acknowledge that? What way do they go with that? You know what I mean?
Yep. Just refer to them as Cleveland. If you read the wiki, they start to talk about the team, they just refer to them as Cleveland, Cleveland, Cleveland. They don't say the Indians or any of that. They kind of
they don't say when they became the Indians or when they stopped being the Indians?
Yeah, they do. The name referred to nickname Indians that was applied to the Cleveland Spiders Baseball Club. So the Cleveland Indians name came from a nickname for the team that was called the Cleveland Spiders Baseball Club. That was 1897 to 1890 at the same time. I'm trying to figure that they're very, oh boy, it's almost like they're erasing their history.
Well, it is a shame that this happened, of course. And
I would tell you, in 1914 they became the Cleveland Indians.
Okay, so you're talking 109 years they would have been the Cleveland Indians. Next year
That's
would have been
correct.
110 years.
Yes.
I'm just curious. We'll have to, when these anniversaries come up, we'll have to keep an eye on what they're doing, and
Yeah.
just out of curiosity. And listen, I could see a team, the Cleveland Indians, Cleveland Browns. All right, they became the Baltimore Ravens. They took over a few of the records of
Yes.
the Cleveland Browns, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, they were left, and they just left them behind. They didn't take them no more. They weren't referring to themselves anymore,
Yeah.
or have any connection to the Cleveland Browns. And the Cleveland Browns disappeared for a few years.
That's correct.
Okay, and to me, when you have an original franchise, and if they weren't original, they were damn close to being one of the originals.
I would say, yeah. Okay? Yeah.
And the history, some of the players that they had, Jim Brown, Otto Graham, and a few others to name. How do you just leave that in total, like, that's it, it's done? And then, of course, when the Cleveland Browns came back into existence, they got their their records back and everything else, of course, because now there was a Cleveland Browns team.
Right.
I just don't see the point of wiping out past history. Whether you agree with it or not, it's something that happened.
Yep.
A lot of good things happened in past history. Jim Brown held the NFL rushing record for how many years? Otto Graham, I believe, no, maybe it was Sonny Borg. Sonny Borg, was that how you pronounce that?
It was Sammy Baugh. And
I believe he was the one that scored 73 points in the NFL, or 77 points in the NFL in a game the highest scoring game by the Washington Redskins. Okay.
Yeah.
What that record no longer stands as a Redskins record. It would be a Commanders record, unless they still recognize it as the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know how. I guess we can look it up. It's funny now because I watch the NFL Network during the summer, plays a lot of old games, and they were playing a lot of old Super Bowls, and they were putting up Washington Redskins versus so-and-so, and I was curious to see if they were going to change the name or if they would stop showing those games with the uniforms and all that stuff. And they didn't. They actually put it out there. I want to say that there was some sort of disclaimer about the name or about the names depicted or blah blah blah. I'm almost positive, but I'm not 100% sure. But
how about this? Look this up, okay? Tell me what you think of this. Look up the list of Super Bowl winners on Wikipedia or whatever, and see if they have the Washington Redskins listed as Washington or the Washington Redskins or Redskins. Probably just Washington at this point in time.
Let's see. Nope. It says Redskins. Washington Redskins.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Well, at least at the first site I went to. I didn't check every one of them, but the first site I popped up was Wikipedia, and it says Washington Redskins. So Pro Football, let's check Pro Football Reference just for the hell of it. Let's see. No, Washington Redskins. So, yeah, there's no wiping out of who won or changing the name at this point. But listen, I think Frankie's got it right. That's the problem that most people have with what's gone on in this country with the wokeism and the tearing down of statues. Listen, I think that everybody who's been a prominent member of our country is a great human being? People had slaves back in the 1700s and the early 1800s because that was the thing they did. The fact that most of them fought to have no slaves, fought to have people released, means something. But you can't throw away our history because somebody was doing something that everybody did. That doesn't make it right, Jeff. I'm not telling you that anybody owning slaves is right. I'm just saying that back then it was acceptable for whatever reason.
You're saying exactly what you're saying, and it's 100% right, and it can't be looked at any other way.
Yeah.
Back in the 1700s, the country was built on the backs of slaves. Back in the 1800s, as we became a more industrialized nation, there might have been a little bit of a less need for slaves in certain aspects of life because machines were starting to do the work of the slave. But nonetheless, it is what it is. You were talking about the way life was led back then. You could have been gay and you would have had to stay in the closet for your whole entire life back then. Okay, you could have. There's a lot of things that you could have been in love with a black person, and you would have never been able to have that relationship because nobody would have allowed you to have that relationship.
Yep.
Because of the racial barriers and everything else. This is the way that life was. When you look back at it, you realize that man isn't all that well off, that at one time, not too long ago, we were still kind of primitive.
Sure.
Now it's easy for me to say certain things because I'm not part of that mindset. I don't have to worry or think about certain things. Would I think differently if a situation faced me? I don't know. I would like to think that I wouldn't, but I can't tell you that. I don't know.
Yeah,
and it is what it is.
Yeah, and I always say this, careful what you agree with when they come for your stuff. And I've seen it happen. Look, I mean, we'll talk about it briefly.
Look what this guy writes. Look what he writes. I do think they should wipe out the Redskins Super Bowls. Yeah.
Well, I would think this. I think there's a few teams you would want to wipe out, Frankie. The ones that a few years in a row when the Giants, the Redskins, everybody was kicking the crap out of the Broncos.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adam, I agree. And the problem is, I tell this to my parents because they're big on what's the big deal? And I say it's never a big deal until they come after you or one of those or something you believe in, and then it becomes a big deal. And if you let people start, it's never going to end. And listen. If I don't like something, I'll give you a quick for instance. So I read a few years back that Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines were retraining their white employees to just what you're saying happened to you at work, to re-educate them on being white and what that means and basically the basically how bad it is to be a white person in America. And I said, okay, that's fine. I'll never buy a Coca-Cola product and I'll never fly Delta Airlines. That's my protest. So to me, it's the same thing in the reverse. If you don't like the Washington Redskin moniker, if you don't like the Cleveland Indian nickname or logo, then here's what you do. Don't support it. But don't tell the person who's a Washington Redskin fan who doesn't have a problem that they can't have that. Don't tell the person that they can't go and check out the statue of, Thomas Jefferson, who wrote was part of writing the Declaration of Independence, yet he had slaves. But Thomas Jefferson's acknowledged one of the great Americans who gave us what we have today to get to this point. So to me, if you want to not honor Thomas Jefferson, do what you got to do, but don't take that from our history. And that's my problem is when somebody or a group of people turn around and say, you can't have something or you can't do something because I am offended by it. Well, tough shit. Then don't support it.
Look what Adam just writes. Okay, exactly. It all comes down to perception. 100% right.
Yep.
Here's the problem. Some people can't perceive.
Yeah.
So they can't let it come down to perception.
Yeah.
They're right and you're wrong, and it has to go their way. There could be no middle ground. Okay. Yeah. How about this? The Cleveland Guardians. Okay, maybe you want to change the name. We'll change the name. Okay. But we're forever going to be known as the Cleveland Indians. We're going to acknowledge the team as the Cleveland Indians as much as possible. We're going to have anniversaries. We're going to celebrate World Series wins. We're going to celebrate a lot of things. It's because of where we are today, because of what they were yesterday.
Right.
And if you don't understand that, that's a pretty powerful moment. And to say that you don't understand it, you want me to understand where you're feeling today, but what you're telling me to feel today, you're realizing we're at because of yesterday. And that's where people lose it. And sure. I just understand it because it's annoying, it's sickening, and everything else. It's fucked up.
Yeah, like I said, it's okay when it's everybody else they're going after until they come after you or what you want. And then all of a sudden it becomes a problem. And this doesn't end. It just keeps going until they take away everything they want. And it's not because they're actually offended by it. It's because they just want to be able to say, I told them they couldn't say that. I told them they can't do that. And listen, I'm a little surprised, to be honest with you, that more sports teams haven't voluntarily changed their name. I'm surprised that the Chicago Blackhawks haven't changed their name. I know, hey, Dig, I know that the Florida State Seminoles, I either think they were going to change their name or they started to change their name to Florida. That's the football team in one of the universities. And the Seminole tribe came out and said, hey, that would be doing us a disservice. We're honored by the fact, and they kept the name. But I'm surprised more teams like the Atlanta Braves, the Chiefs, the Blackhawks haven't fallen into this mix and bowed to the woke. And let's hope they don't, because I think it's disgusting. And I'll just keep buying shirt. Well, I got Washington Redskin hat, I got my Cleveland Indian hat. I'll keep buying the woke, the anti-woke shit, and keep wearing it, because to me, if you don't like it, don't support it. But don't tell me
listen,
I
can't. 100%. Listen, every single person right now that's up on that screen that's been talking to us all night, Frank, Pete, Adam, Mike, they're all sports fans on some level.
Yep.
Okay. And we live in New York. We have an abundance of sports teams. We got the Devils, the Islanders, the Rangers, the Mets, the Yankees, the Jets, the Giants. Some people are Giant fans. You know what they do? They hate the Jets. They don't buy their stuff. They don't pay attention. Some people are Met fans. You know what they don't do? They hate the Yankees. Won't watch a Yankee game. Won't acknowledge the Yankees. Yankee fans won't acknowledge the Mets. The Nets in Brooklyn, the Knicks in Manhattan. If you're either a Knicks fan or a Brooklyn fan, God forbid you're a fucking Islander fan. You could get killed here for being an Islander fan if you're not a Ranger fan. And you know what? They have games in the same building. And you know what else, too? Nobody dies. Nobody gets fucking burned at the stake. Nothing. They go out there. They play the game. Fuck you. Potvin sucks. This, that, and the other fucking thing. And life goes on. And the next day, everybody goes to work and everybody's happy.
Yeah.
But then you get some of these maniacs that probably don't even watch sports, know anything about the team, know anything about the history of the team, or why anything was named the way it was. And yet they want to change everything because they want to be the ones that are known as the one that made change happen.
Absolutely. 100%.
It's a shame, man. It's a real shame.
And I'm curious, and we'll end it right after this. But again, Hard Rock and Sports, that's Chef, and I'm Tom. We're here every Thursday night. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're getting a little sports mixed in. And yes, I would sign a petition for this Redskin, going back to the Redskin, which will never happen, by the way. I wonder how many of the team's loyal fans actually were okay with the name change. Like, I didn't pay enough attention. Maybe we were mixed in the middle of COVID and all the other shit going. They were burning down places because of George Floyd. I wonder how many fans of the Cleveland Indians, the Washington Redskins, were actually okay with the name change. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm a Yankee fan, if the Yankees, and there was some talk that they were going to push that the Yankee name should be changed because it was a derogatory Southern name for people up north during the Civil War. It was all sorts of crazy talk. But if the Yankees ever came out and said, we'll change the name because it's affiliated with, that time, I would actually stop watching Yankee games going forward.
Let me go take this one step further, please.
Please.
If the New York Yankees were ever pressured and it was successful that they changed the name of the New York Yankees, then all sports should stop. I don't think that I would ever watch another sports, anything in the rest of my life. To me, there are certain teams, certain teams that are iconic in sports. They're above other teams. You have the New York Yankees, 27 or 28 world championships. The Montreal Canadiens, most championships by an NHL franchise. You got Michael Jordan and the Bulls, the Lakers, the Knicks. These are iconic championship franchises. How could you ever make one of them change the name? If you're successful and you get them to change, then I don't see the point of ever watching these guys again. I would not do anything to get them money.
I listen. I couldn't agree with you more. I think sports got a real dose of reality during the whole football, basketball, kneeling on the sidelines, the stuff on the back of the helmets, and there was such a drop off from people who were tired of being told, "Well, you're white, so you're a racist." And I think they lost so much money, advertising, and all that they've backed off of that. And I think they realized that you can only push people so far, and to sit there and tell you half your audience that you know you're basic. I mean, just look with the women's soccer team, the national team. I was a big fan till the last go around. Now that they don't stand for the anthems, they badmouth the U.S. I refuse to watch it. I watched the last 2 or 3 World Cups and Olympics. I was a big fan of the women's soccer team, but now I rooted against them for this reason. So again, I only hope that the other teams that are left, the Chiefs, the Braves, the Blackhawks, some of the college teams that have the monikers, I hope they don't succumb. But I think big time sports got a big dose of reality when people disappeared in droves. They're all coming back. They all came back, Jeff. But they think they showed that we'll disappear if you don't stop. And I think they've paid attention to that message.
They had to do that, and they had to go that route, and they had to show that simply because of the reasoning what was going on. Okay, there were very few people that stood behind these athletes with their protests.
Yeah.
Okay, it cost a man his career. Say what you want about Colin Kaepernick. We all hate him. We don't like him. Nothing. You're talking about a man that guided a team to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Okay. Every year, what does this guy got to say? Mr. Carey, Anthony Carey.
What's up, Anthony?
That name sounds familiar. Where do we know that guy from?
We know that guy, my man Anthony Carey from Red Rum.
Oh, that's right. My brother.
My Hard Rockin' Sports band friend. That's well. What's up, Anthony?
Nice to see you on here, man. But listen, back to what I was saying. You can't. It proved that it backfired.
Yes, 100%.
It backfired, and he tried to save face, and he couldn't. He couldn't, and he ruined his career. Yes. Probably by now he would have been retired from the NFL.
Yes. But, agreed, 100%.
It was almost 10 years that he destroyed his career?
No. Well, it's probably going back 6 or 7. Yeah, I would say 7 years. You're right. Yeah, probably closer to 10 than I would have thought. But you know what? Here's what he did. He would have not got the big contracts, but he would have hung around for the 5 years making, $2-3 million a year.
First of all, let me tell you something. If he was playing at a semi-decent level, he would have made at least one big contract. And if he could still be playing right now in this time, he'd be a backup, probably making decent money. You'd have to think. I'm not sticking up for the guy. I'm not saying that I wish he was in the NFL, but I mean, look at Daniel Jones is making $40 million, and some of what these other quarterbacks are making. For them to pay a quarterback $2 million would be an absolute steal.
Yeah, but think about this. Most of us, a lot of people, I do for sure, think he was going to be cut. He was a year away from his free agency. He was about to get cut because he couldn't beat out Blaine Gabbert to start for the 49ers going into that next season. And a lot of people, and I agree with it, think that he started that so he couldn't get cut. And he actually opted out of his contract. He had an $11 million deal. He opted out thinking that he would get that big deal, and nobody was going to give it to him because he was exposed for what he was, a very bad quarterback who was a great athlete, who, yes, took his team to the Super Bowl, but wasn't really a good quarterback. And he was never going to get that next big contract. And I think he thought by doing this, it would save his career, and it wound up killing it. But he was going to be cut or released by the 49ers because he couldn't beat out Blaine Gabbert.
He was one of the quarterbacks that was on the cusp of the beginning of, being one of these guys that could run, that could be an athletic quarterback.
Yeah, the Lamar Jacksons. Yes,
he was a few years ahead of them.
Yep, agreed.
You know what? Once he could have been in the forefront of that if he just conducted himself a little bit better.
Oh, 100%.
Normal, and maybe somebody would have noticed him and said, "Okay, well, we'll sign him."
Oh, yeah. 100%. Listen, 100%. No, it was a last-ditch effort to hang around on that team and get another. He wanted another deal from them to be extended, and they didn't want to do it. And in fact, like I said, they were going to cut him. He opted out. He had an $11 million deal for his last year, and he opted out of that deal. And he thought he was going to get this big contract. And we all knew he was never coming back, but he milked that to the end. And Nike lost me. I threw out all my Nike stuff because of it. That's another one. Again, did anybody notice at Nike? Absolutely not. Does anybody care? No. But for me, it made me feel like at least I wasn't going to contribute to the Nike brand, and I still won't because of how they treated him and the reverence they gave him. And I won't go back to Nike. I love Nike shoes. I love Nike stuff. I will refuse to wear Nike things going forward.
I used to wear the Nike sneakers too myself.
Yeah.
And
so
like you said, I just no.
I will not support that label while they are backers of that kind of guy. And it's backfired. Listen, he's disappeared. He's officially, it's been 2 years since anybody's even brought his name up. I stopped reading the Daily News because of it. I've told you the story. I stopped reading the Daily News because Mike Lupica wrote one of the dumbest articles I have ever read in my entire life. Because
is Mike Lupica still alive?
Yes, he's definitely still alive. I stopped reading the Daily News, so I don't know if he's still writing for them, but as far as I know, he is. Yeah, he wrote an article. It was the first year. It was Daniel Jones' second year, first year starting, and they had brought in Joe Judge. It was his rookie year as a coach, and Mike Lupica wrote an article, and his theory was the Giants should sign Colin Kaepernick and bring him in to show the rest of the league that they had the balls to bring in a controversial guy. And I said, why would you want to bring in the most controversial player today into a locker room with a guy who's already on edge, replacing Eli Manning with a brand new coach, and bring that diversity, that diversion into their locker room? It was the dumbest thing I've ever read. I tweeted him online about it, and a whole bunch of woke assholes came flying at me like I was some racist. And I said, why would you want to bring a guy who couldn't beat out Blaine Gabbert and put him in that locker room and divide the locker room into why this guy isn't starting over this kid? It was the dumbest thing I've read. And I stopped reading the Daily News that day. I had read the Daily News every day of my life from the time I was probably 15 years old. And I just stopped.
I am not, I got to say this one thing. I got to run into the bathroom.
Yeah.
I am not one to let politics sway me from doing certain things. I watch football straight through. Yep. I'll watch Robert De Niro movies. I'll do what I want to do because I want to do it. Okay. Right. Not because of what other people say that I should do or not do. The one thing that I will not do is I will not ever buy the New York Daily News.
Okay.
Or ever read that paper. I will not so much as pick that paper up and check out what's in it. To me, it's nothing more than a National Enquirer. I don't like it. I'm not a Donald Trump fan. I think the man as a human being is an idiot. But I do not like the way the Daily News took him, persecuted him, made him wrong, and everything that happens, anything derogatory, is all about, anything that pertains to him is derogatory, and they plaster it on the front page of the paper, trying to just overwhelmingly trying to persuade people to go against him.
Right.
Now, once again, like I said, I just don't like the man.
Yep.
Okay. So that's where I stand.
Sure.
But I can't sit there and even read the headlines, justify the headlines of somebody that I do not like.
I agree.
I just can't do it. I will never buy the Daily News. And if you ever look on and I know that you do, because I know that you go to the store just like I do. You look at the store and look at the Post and you look at the Daily News. The Post at least tries to report something of newsworthy.
I agree.
But the Daily News just don't. What's up, Matt?
What's up, Matty boy?
It's disgusting. It's beyond disgusting.
Agreed, 100%. I read the Post every day. I get it delivered to my house, and I refuse to watch because every article in the Daily News, whatever the reason is, it's because of racism, and I have no interest in reading. I have no interest in reading.
It's so bad too. It's so blatant. It's unbelievable.
Go again. Hard Rocket Sports. That's Jeff. I'm Tom. We're every Thursday night hanging in there watching, doing our thing on Thursday. I'll kick the football game, and even though I'm not really interested in a Eagles preseason game as much as Matt is, but Cleveland Browns, who we were talking about before, at the Philadelphia Eagles, 2-0. Again, the Eagles. Let's do a little quick football thing while Jeff's away. I'm curious on this Eagles team. Most of the time, go back and look it up. The Super Bowl loser has a rough year the next year. This Eagle team should be built to win again this year in a very, I think, even division. I still don't believe in anything with the Redskins. I think the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Eagles all have big holes. For the Eagles, it's their coaching staff. I think they took a couple big hits in their coaching staff. I still don't think Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback. I thought he did play. He had a great Super Bowl. He had some moments. He has a team, but I think it's always hard to come back after that loss. And of course, the Cowboys, they're in an enigma. I don't know what to make of the Cowboys. Zeke's gone. Is Pollard healthy? I don't believe in Dak Prescott. I've said this for years. I think he's a pedestrian quarterback who was surrounded by one of the best offensive line and some of the best talent out there, and he did nothing with it. I think their defense is ahead now. I think all three of those teams have major holes: Giants, Eagles, and the Cowboys. So I think the NFC East is wide open right now, in my opinion. As far as Cleveland goes, do you believe in Deshaun Watson? I do not believe in Deshaun Watson. I've never thought Deshaun Watson was a great quarterback. So I to me, there's so much this year in the NFL, especially the NFC. Who's any good? Who in the NFC? I mean, go to the divisions, folks, real quick. I mean, the NFC East, I think, is wide open. The North. I mean, is anybody buying into the Green Bay Packers with Love running the squad? I'm not buying into it yet. The Vikings. When are they ever going to get to that point? And I mean, I gotta tell you, it's just why. Jeff, I was just talking about the NFC, and I'm saying the NFC East, I think, is still wide open. I think it's a 3-team thing, and any one of them could be good, and any one of them could be bad. I know you're picking the Eagles to repeat. I get the reason why, but I think there's all sorts of questions in that division. The North, I think, is wide open. The South, who's any good in the South? I mean, most people are picking the Falcons because Derek Carr, not Derek Carr.
Saints.
The Saints, because Derek Carr went there. Some people tell me the Falcons, Desmond Ridder all of a sudden is going to be this great quarterback coming out of Cincy. The Bucs are going to be terrible, I think. And in the West, I mean, yeah, I think Frisco's the best team, but Jeff, they're giving Sam Darnold the big look this weekend in their game to see if he's the quarterback. If you're telling me that at this point Sam Darnold's getting the look over Brock Purdy and Trey Lance, you're pretty much telling me you ain't got a quarterback on that roster.
Oh, listen, I agree. I totally agree. The only thing that I could say about Sam Darnold is simply this. Every year in the league for the first couple of years, it was either on a different team, different coordinators, something. He's had no continuity. Do I think that continuity would make a difference for him? No, not really. But you want to know something? Maybe it wouldn't hurt either. I think that this kid, I mean, listen, he's still in the league. He's still in the league. Is he going to start? No, I don't think so. I think that Baker Mayfield's last hurrah is coming up also.
Yeah, I agree. But here's my only issue is everybody was praising Brock Purdy at the end of last year. Yeah, Matt, you know what? I still don't believe in Geno Smith. I get you. I understand they've gotten better, but I'm not buying this 2 years in a row. Geno Smith's going to all of a sudden become a great quarterback. But getting back to Frisco,
Went
Jeff.
2 years in a row without doing anything, to be honest, which I agree with you, Tom. I just don't see it. Has he gotten better, and is maybe he found his way? That is possible.
Sure.
I just don't think that it's.
Yeah, I don't see them winning a Super Bowl with Geno Smith at quarterback. But staying on the 49ers, who probably are the best team in the conference. The problem I have is if you were stuck on Purdy, if you were stuck on Trey Lance or Sam Darnold, they would be starting and playing a good portion of these games.
I don't think Purdy is ready to start yet. And
I
don't think that he's ready yet either.
I don't know, but at this point, I don't think they've decided on who their quarterback is this year.
I agree with that. I don't think they've decided who their quarterback at the moment is going to be. I think that they want one of these guys to fail so that they could cast them off to the side. And I think that they feel as though that they have to try everybody.
I would agree. But if you had listen, I would tell you most teams have their number one quarterback. Whether it's Hurts, whether it's Derek Carr, Desmond Ritter, the Falcons, the Colts are going with Anthony Richardson. It seems like Stroud's going to is this situation? No, the other Bryce Young's going to start for the Panthers. Most teams at this point know who their starter is. I don't get the impression that the San Francisco 49ers have that clue right now. Yes, the Denver Broncos has Russell Wilson. But so I think right now the NFC is wide open. I think I picked the Lions. I think the Lions might be the best team in the conference because they're solid all the way down their roster. I don't think it's the greatest roster, but they've got a veteran quarterback who played really well last year. They can run the football, they can throw the football, and defensively, I think they're a good team. And I don't think that division's any good. So I think this right now, the NFC as a conference, I don't think you can give me 7 teams you can guarantee me will be good teams this year.
No, I have to agree with you. I don't think that there's any teams that in the NFC that you could say are going to be powerhouses. I think the powerhouse teams are definitely in the AFC this year.
I would agree.
And I think that there's a lot of them in the AFC.
I would agree. There's at least potentially, I think there's a dozen teams that could be really good and a half dozen teams that could be great teams this year.
I'll give you a team right now that I don't care what you say and think. I just think from day one when it happened, I think that there's not good, but that's the Cincinnati Bengals. There's too many questions, it seems, about Joe Burrow. He's not going to start till week 5.
Is that true? I didn't hear that today.
That's
I didn't hear that. Okay.
And not for nothing, Matt, I watched Geno Smith as a Jet fan. He sucks, bro. That guy, if he does it again this year, I'll tip my hat to you, and I have no choice but to agree. I just don't see him pulling it out. I think he was lucky last year. I really do.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with Jeff on that. But Matt, on your Lions thing, while I don't disagree with you, the good thing for the Lions right now is I think you can make that statement about 90% of the NFC, maybe more, 95% of the NFC, because who really is any good? Who's got a quarterback in that division, in that conference, that you could say is there and they're ready to play? And you can't. I mean, Derek Carr has never done anything with the Raiders. Dak has done nothing. I mean, I'll say Jalen Hurts is just because he went to the Super Bowl last year, but short of that, I think all the teams in the NFC have to learn how to win.
I think that you just mentioned the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFC right now. Okay, not in the NFL, in the NFL. In the NFC.
I got you. Yeah, right. Hurts and Carr. Okay,
I'll give it to Jalen Hurts because he had a good year last year, and that he went to the Super Bowl. I'll give it to Dak because how many years in a row has he gotten them to the playoffs? Hasn't done much. All the other teams either have a new quarterback, a relatively new quarterback, or somebody that's coming back from an injury or has too many questions. who else in the NFC has? All right, I'll even give it to the Seahawks with Geno Smith, but I just don't. I personally can't believe in Geno Smith.
I agree. I agree with you.
But who else is the other standby quarterback in the NFC?
No, I mean, you can throw Cousins in there if you wanted to. I mean, he's been
Cousins, but I mean, all right, Jeff, what's his face? The kid from Detroit, Goff.
Yeah, yep.
You know, he did go to a Super Bowl. He's been part of this revival with the Lions.
No, I agree with you. I think that's one of the reasons why I'm picking them right now, because I think he's veteran enough and played well enough the last couple of years. I don't think he's great, but I don't think he's terrible. And I think
I think it is with Goff. I think he's growing with the team. Yeah, I don't think that he's going to be the guy that's going to throw 45 touchdowns a year.
Doesn't need to, right? Doesn't need to.
I think that he's going to help contribute it in his own way. That's what I think.
No, I couldn't agree with you more, and that's why I picked the Lions. I think it's wide open if they stay healthy. That division's not great. I'm not buying into the Packers. And Matt, remember I told you when they drafted Love, I thought it was a wasted pick. We'll see if I'm right this year, but I'm not overly confident that kid's going to take that team. You know, but that division is what, to me, other than the Bears, I think anybody can win that division. I think the Bears are terrible, and anybody thinks Justin Fields is a great quarterback.
Where is all the love for Justin Fields coming from?
Yeah,
people saying things. The more I read about Justin Fields, I was like, did this guy turn into Tom Brady in the offseason?
Yeah.
The things that I've heard, he's good. He could make plays. He could do that. Isn't this the same guy they were saying was a bust by like week 3 last year?
Yeah.
But because he ran the ball a couple times? I just don't see it.
Yeah, I agree. And to your point, Jeff, I think there are abundance of teams on the other side, and one of them is your team, the Jets. And the one thing, that as a Jet fan, you have to be a little frustrated by is I think Joe Douglas has done a nice job with a lot of this team. I think the two areas that he has not fixed, one is obviously tight end. I think he's not, but the biggest thing is offensive line. It is still a huge hole. Even what's his name? Aaron Rodgers came out this week and said, we kind of got to get to start and getting this together because he's going to get killed. And as good as this team is, without fixing this line, you may waste the best chance this team's had in 30 years to win a Super Bowl. And I think it's going to be tough just because of the conference. We talked about it. There's so many good teams or possibilities of good teams, but the fact that this offensive line is still there, I'll tell you how bad it is, Jeff. They were singing the praises of Mekhi Becton and say how great he played in the game last week. Do you know how many plays he played?
Probably about 6 or 7.
8 plays. And they were praising how great he played in 8 plays against a bunch of backups. So that's how desperate they are at this point.
They got to give you something. That's one thing.
Sure.
And I got to say, and you know that I don't heap praise on the Jets because I don't believe I want to see what they can do before I start heaping praise on them.
Yep.
Okay. But you're talking about a team that just 5 years ago, was so miserable that like they have gotten so much better through the draft, through trades, through free agency, that their groups, their position players, their position groups have gotten so much better than they once were. It's unbelievable. It really is.
Oh, agreed. This is a much better team. The problem is the one area that he hasn't been able to fix, no matter what, is the offensive line.
But there's a rumor, I don't know how true it is, that they may be going after an ex-lineman from the Packers.
Okay, which
I forget what his name is. I would be lying if I saw it on maybe ESPN earlier today.
Hold on, I'll bring up Pro Football Talk to. Let's see.
I don't even know what position he played.
Just taking a look, see if anything's up there right now. Giants allow Bucks to use a facility. No, don't see anything listed here. But listen, I don't hate the Dalvin Cook. I don't hate the Dalvin Cook signing. I just don't think that that's the area they need, because that tells me one of two things. Either Brees Hall is not 100%, right? Because otherwise, why would you bring in Dalvin Cook and muddy the backfield when you already got Carter, you already got the kid Knight, you've got a pretty good stable? Why would you bring him in and not spend the resources on an offensive lineman that's available?
They still have, I believe they still have money to go after offensive linemen.
Okay.
2, you're in the offseason. Let's see who gets cut. Let's see who's possibly up for trade. 3, Brees Hall, we all know that after the knee operation, he's not going to pick up where he left off last year. So I think signing Dalvin Cook is a smart idea. They signed him to a 1-year deal. They also signed him to a pretty friendly, a team-friendly deal.
Yes.
$7 million, $8 million a year. So to me, I think that they did pretty good. And, why not for 1 year? It's not like they signed him for 2 or 3 years. With Brees Hall in question, I don't see the problem. If it works, it's great. Michael Carter last year didn't really do that much. I think he averaged like 3.5 or 3.8 yards a play. The other guy that they had didn't do much better. So it isn't like they had a home run threat in there. So now maybe they see one of these guys may not even make it for the preseason finale. You never know. Maybe they get rid of Michael Carter. Maybe they get rid of that other kid. And they seem to be pretty high on that kid they drafted last year. One in the 3rd or 4th round, whatever he was.
Yeah.
5th round of running back.
Yep.
So who knows?
No, I agree. I just think when you bring in that, what happens is while you do create some competitiveness, which I'm all for. I think the other thing you do though is you got 2 guys who are going to be looking for an abundance of playing time. Dalvin Cook's going to want to play a lot because why? He's playing for another contract. Brees Hall's going to want to play a lot because he's going to want to prove that he's healthy and heading into his 3rd year next year and new contracts. So those guys are not going to want to give away snaps to another guy. So it has the ability to create friction in the locker room. So far, everybody's saying the right things. I could be way off on that. All I'm saying
they're not even there a week. They have to.
No, I got it. So, but I just didn't. I don't hate the signing. It could turn out to be a very good, especially if Brees Hall, and again, most of the time with the injury he has, isn't the same until year 2. So it's probably a good move. My main issue with it is I think Joe Douglas has done a nice job with this team. I still don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to be, but he's definitely an upgrade. And yeah, the position plays, like you said, the defense, I think he's done a nice job. But in the 5 years or whatever it is he's been here, Jeff, he cannot fix the offensive line. And that to me is their most glaring weakness going into this season is you're going to go into an offensive line that you don't know at this point who's starting at center. You don't know who's playing both tackle positions at this point, although I would guess Becton's going to be at one of them. And you're got a short window to get this done with Aaron Rodgers. And let me tell you something. If this year turned ugly for any reason, I don't expect it to. I really don't. But that would not surprise me for Aaron Rodgers to say, hey, this ain't working. I'm out of here.
Listen, anything is possible.
Yeah.
Anything is possible. But, listen, you just don't know. Let them go out there. Let them play. Let them see what happens. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And again, now, guys, we'll switch. I'm going to tell you a little. So I watched the Giants preseason game last week. I didn't watch the game. I watched the rookies. I love to watch how the rookies play. I thought both the 2 corners, I think his name is Hawkins, and of course Deontay Banks. I thought played really well for rookies. Again, no, they're not facing the greatest competition in the world, but you love to watch how they play the position. And I thought especially Banks had really good makeup speed. I thought his coverage was great, and he tackles. So I was very impressed with Banks. And the other guy I came extremely impressed with was the center, John Michael Schmitz, the 2nd-round draft pick. I think it out of Minnesota. And I would tell you, I keyed on him on the offense, could care less about anything else. And Jeff, I tell you, they made a great pick with this kid. If he is even remotely what he was in that game, Just his technique was great. He 20-something snaps, not a pressure. Just did a fantastic job. And I was came away impressed with a bunch of those, with a couple of those rookies. And that's what I'm watching for in these games. Otherwise, to me, these games are just meaningless.
Yeah, I can't bring myself to watch any of this right now, simply because these guys aren't going full speed.
Yep.
There's rookies and they're basically, I don't want to say going through the motions, but some of them are because they don't want to get hurt. It just, let's see what happens when the real season gets here. Are they going to develop into the players that these teams need? That would be nice if they did, for both teams, the Jets and the Giants. But Giants have also had offensive line issues.
Sure, absolutely.
God knows how many years now. So it's you could see just by watching them, it's not an easy fix.
No, it's not. Now I think they finally have gotten it. I love. I think that Andrew Thomas is a top 3 to 5 offensive tackle. Evan Neal, I think, has potential to take that next step and be the same guy on the right side. And if Schmidt's any good, yeah. But they still have 2 issues at guard right now. They got 3 guys rotating in and out of there to try to win the 2 spots. So to your point, agreed. It's not the easiest thing to fix. But again, if you're the Jets, I don't think there was enough effort this offseason to surround Aaron Rodgers with the kind of protection he's going to need to be successful. Obviously, anything can happen. Matt, you talking about Max Mitchell, the tackle for the Jets? I don't know if you mean Max Mitchell. I think you're on crack. But yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, listen, you were a couple weeks away. We're going to be doing our fantasy draft in a week, in a little over a week and a half.
I'm going on record right now because
Okay.
we got two teams from the league that are on right now, bopping in and out.
That's
and
true.
I'll tell you, the Hard Rocket Sports team is not going to be something to be taken lightly this year.
Nice,
Matt.
nice.
We watched you. We watched last year, and all of the moves you made, changing even the water boy, the brand punting tee you used, everything. So we'll be ready to take you on. And same with you, Frank. We got a surprise pick for you, Frank. Then we're going to trade him to you for everything.
Oh, John Michael Schmitz. Yes, I agree. I think he's a future Pro Bowler. I think that was a great pick by the Giants. I'm extremely high. I told you about Max Mitchell for the Jets. I was saying that guy's a turnstile. Yes, and we will be in both Frank and Matt are a part of our fantasy league, which will kick off on the 28th. We have our big draft, so I'm looking forward to doing that again.
I'd just like to see them talk a little more smack, man.
Yeah, me too. I think this year I'm going to be pushing that along a little bit. That's why I raised the entry fee a little bit. We're going to $50 a team this year.
Yeah.
I said, yeah. So we're going to do $50 a team, try to make it a little more interesting, get guys a little more up on it, and we'll have some fun and maybe get a little trash talking going. So, but Hard Rocket Sports, that's Chef, and I'm Tom. We're here every week. We're talking a little football right now. We did a little social justice, wokeness for the first hour and change of the show. Thank you guys for checking in and hanging out with us. Let's see. We want to switch gears. What's on my list of things to talk about here? Real quick on the Jets, on the Mets and the Yankees. Season's over. Obviously, I'll give the Mets credit. They realize it in the middle of what's going on of their season. They bailed. They admitted out loud that they made huge mistakes, and they're trying to rectify it. So I'll give them credit. The problem with the Yankees, Jeff, is they're trying to stick with the same philosophy for the last few years, and they just won't admit that what they're doing and how they're trying to do it doesn't work. And they just keep, giving you just enough to keep people coming in the building. And now it's backfired. They're under 500 for the first time in a very long time this late in the season.
Man. What a shame, right?
Yeah, and it's a philosophy thing. And you just have a bunch of players who just don't care. I'm going to bring up something that we didn't talk about last week, and I want to show you. This is emblematic of why the Yankees suck. Let me play this for you. Giancarlo Stanton. I don't know if you saw this anywhere else. Thrown out at home. Let's see if I can find that video for Hefe. Yeah, this is it. All right, give me a. Hold on, I'm just waiting for this video to end. I want to show you that this is emblematic of why the Yankees are a bad team right now.
All you gotta do is look at their record, and you can see they're a bad team.
No, there's a difference between being a bad team and being a bad team. So watch this and tell me what you think.
Yeah, I saw that.
I want to see if they show you. Okay, watch this view of it, Jeff, because this is more. Now watch.
He's coming in from second base.
Yeah, look at how he's running all the way around the bases. I mean, that is the problem with the New York. So if you want to tell me, well, he did that because he's afraid to get hurt, then it's even worse. But the fact that he was on second base in a game where it was still a close game and was jogging from the start, gets thrown out at home without even making any sort of an effort, to me, that the Yankees don't. I mean, they should have just told him, just go straight into the clubhouse, change your clothes, go home. We'll call you when we're ready to bring you back.
But isn't the problem? Don't they owe him like another 4 years, $100 million?
Yeah, that's the major problem is that they took him, they traded for him coming off of a MVP 59 home run season, and he's never lived up to that. Now he's had some moments here as a Yankee. Last year had a great playoff run, but for the most part, he's been hurt. He has not lived up to his contract, and he's a blockade in the lineup. And to me, if I'm Hal Steinbrenner, I'm releasing him. You got to let him go. Take the bullet and start building an athletic, put the ball in play team, because that's what wins. And this team, we already got Judge, and I like Judge, but Judge is not much of a difference than this guy. And to me, watching that play, and I saw it live, it made me sick to my stomach. And it made, as a baseball fan, as a guy who loves the game and loves to watch the nuances of baseball, that is a problem, and that is what I hate about the Yankee team right there.
Well, it's more than the Yankee team. That's showing you a selfish player.
Yep.
That doesn't want to hustle for his team, that he's given up. And if a player that's making, God only knows what he's making a year, if he's given up, why should the guy that's making $5 million a year play hard or with a veteran's minimum? It rolls downhill. And once a team starts getting bad, it engulfs everything. And this Yankee team, I don't follow baseball, you know that, but I've been looking in the papers just to keep track. And last week, they were a last place team above 500. Now you're talking a team that, this is a bad team. This is a bad team. One game under 500. I cry when Carmine makes fun of them.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing that anybody could say to stand up for them.
Yeah.
They're a bad team.
Yeah, and as much as, I want to say, well, the Mets are a bad team, and they are, I think it's for a different reason. They went for it. They went out and spent money on some high-priced veterans. It didn't work out. He acknowledged it. He said, I screwed it up. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to do it the right way. I respect it. I'm happy because I hate when teams are built like that. And when you come out and say, well, we're going to win a World Series because we did this, I'm rooting against you. So I was rooting against the Mets for it. But I respect what they're doing right now.
You get a team, right? And you get yourself a couple 40-year-old pitchers.
Yep.
And you put them on the team. I could see if you want one 40-year-old pitcher that just had a great year, and you're like, you know what, we got to take him. We got to give this a shot. We have to.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, okay, it didn't work, but we acknowledge it and everything else. Okay, it sucks, but at least you acknowledged it, and you're trying to do something about it. You try to get something back for these guys.
Yep.
I just don't understand what some of these guys are thinking. I just don't. I would never want two 40-year-old player pitchers. Who would want it?
Yeah. Again, I understand what they did. They were, they went for two guys who were considered the better pitchers in the league. They short contracts. Let's go in, mercenaries, win it, and then move on. It didn't work. They got rid of them, got what they could for them, ate some of the money, and they admitted it. I didn't agree with it from the beginning, but I'll give them credit for realizing it and moving on. The Yankees just refuse to admit they screwed up. They've built a bad team, and it doesn't work. And I think as a Yankee fan, it's time to clean house. New general manager, new coach. I would burn the roster down to whatever you have to and start all over. And whatever that way is to do it, that's to me at this point. I'd rather go through a couple of really bad years and get it right than do what we're going through right now and basically have no shot of winning a World Series based on how they're, just doesn't make any sense.
So, well, it certainly doesn't seem like you're going to have a shot at winning the World Series now. Not this year. Yeah, that's probably not next year.
Again, without a severe changeover, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. So, but it's frustrating. I'm sure if you're a Met fan, it's frustrating, but at least I think that guy's willing to admit I think the Yankees just don't care. They were happy filling the building every day and going to the playoffs and getting as far as they could. I think this year, the embarrassment of it all, I wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees are not sold in the next couple of years. I think Hal Steinbrenner has given up. And I think the Yankees are going to be for sale. The question will be, will an individual buy that, or is it going to be one of those corporation things that usually don't work? But we'll see. But right now, I'll tell you, as a Yankee fan, they're a hard team to watch. I mean, the last two nights they've scored, I think, one run. They've had a few hits. This team strikes out way too much. I mean, 30 strikeouts in over a couple of games last week. This is a bad team. Yeah, at 30 strikeouts, I think in 2 games, 18 in one game and 12 in another. I think it was.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So it's it's bad enough. By the way, Greta Van Fleet has got to be one of the worst bands in the whole world. I don't know why people make such a big deal out of them. We'll
talk about that. Greta Van Fleet.
I got Blabbermouth up, and I was just flipping through looking for some stories, and it says Greta Van Fleet singer Josh Kiska says a huge weight was lifted after he came out as a member of LGBTQ community. And you know what? I guess not being part of that community, I don't understand I think in today's day and age, why would you wait to come out? I mean, it seems like it's so, my God, it's almost like if you're not coming out, it's the strange thing now.
Well, you know why they're not coming out, right?
I have no idea why.
Well, one, they suck.
Well, they suck. That is for sure.
Okay, that's one thing. Two, they probably waited just a little bit because this here way now it gives them some attention.
Maybe. Yeah. That's a good point. I mean? Yeah.
So, here he is. He just came out and it gives him the attention focuses on the band, even though the attention would be for the wrong reason, that not because of the music, but because the singer came out. But, what do they care? If it gets them some record sales, it gets them some record sales.
He's a strange looking dude, man. Like, what's with all of this?
Well.
Yeah, I think they suck. And again, I'm not a Zeppelin fan. I know watching some of your posts, you've become more of a Led Zeppelin fan than you probably were at one point in your life.
Right now, I'm on a very big Led Zeppelin kick. I just put together a huge playlist.
Really?
Yeah. I went on. I was at work yesterday. I had nothing else to do. What's the matter? Can you hear me? What the fuck is going on?
What are you talking about?
No, something popped up on my computer. I don't know what it was. And I just made a 53-song set list for what do you call it? Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin? Really?
Yeah.
I am no fan of Led Zeppelin. I can't think of one song that would pop up on my Pandora or my Sirius from Led Zeppelin that I would go, oh, leave the song on. This is pretty good. Like, I just don't have one. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why.
I thought the same way, but I know what part of the issue is.
What is the issue?
For me.
Go ahead.
I am not the metal guy that I once was.
I would okay, I understand that. Go ahead.
And you know, as a fan and as a musician, at least if some people would call me that, I don't call myself that, but I just, for lack of a better term here, I have been shying away from metal. I just can't. There's been nothing that came out that makes me want to stay and listen to it, and I'm tired of listening to the same shit. And a few years ago, I got heavily into the Queen thing. Right now, these are my main playlists on my phone that I have on my phone, because what I do is I make a new playlist. I got one for Alice in Chains, one for Cornell, one for Zeppelin, one for grunge, one for Maiden, one for Metallica, old Metallica, one for Pantera because I like Pantera, Priest, Queen, Ramones, two Ramones, one for that I love songs I like, and one for the band. 25 Missions, the set list. Reverend Horton Heat, a Southern rock thing, and a one that I called Mashed Potato Johnson, just because it's a mishmash. There's so much stuff that I made it for the barbecue, and it was 89 songs, and 28 hours and 25 minutes.
Wow.
Long. So when I have a barbecue, I throw it on, and it has anything and everything. And Adam, I do have a Festa song on the Mashed Potato Johnson. The song Salt. It was one that I really liked that I put on there. And I just a whole bunch of different things in here, man. I just can't seem to find the metal appealing like it once was to me.
I would agree with you. I have a station on my Pandora.
Hold on. You are fucking banned, Frank. Fuck you, your Broncos, and Russell Wilson, and Captain and Tennille. Fuck you, Frank.
I too, I used to be religious into listening to metal songs on a daily basis, whether it was my Sirius. I have Ozzy's Boneyard, the hair metal station. I kind of gotten away from that. I had a Pandora that was a Queen Pandora. Played everything from Queen to Maidens, Van Halen. It kind of got in a rhythm of playing stuff that I liked. Well, I've gotten so tired, Jeff. For the last month and a half, I've been religiously listening to country music.
Oh, God.
Yes. I will tell you, there is some seriously good stuff. Not like old time country. There's a couple of old things I've come to like, but I'm talking like modern country that sounds, the guitars sound metal or hard rock.
I know what you're talking about, but you know what? As somebody that has a dog, I will never listen to country music because I don't want nothing to happen to my dog.
But there's a couple of artists. This guy Chris Cagle, great stuff. I love Toby Keith and what's his name? Trace Adkins.
My grandmother was a big fan of Trace Adkins.
Yeah, I am a big fan of those three guys. Eric Church. There's about 4 or 5 guys that I've so far gotten into, and it's. But I drive every day to work with a buddy of mine, Mike, and it drives him crazy that when he gets in the truck, in the beginning or the end of the day, he says, "I hate this shit," and I get it, and I'm shocked that I listen to it, but I agree with you. Like, there's only so many times I can listen to, the same Maiden songs over and over again, or the same Queen songs over and over again. And
you know what, Tom? It's not that so much. Okay. I really don't want to see new music come from certain bands because it's not going to be the same. And I don't want to hear like a new Maiden album because it's not going to have the same drive that some of the old Maiden stuff had. But all of these new metal bands that come out, they all sound like one another. Who the fuck wants to listen to this shit? I don't want to hear it. I want to hear something new, something different. Everything's been done. everything's been done.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, forget it. The last hope was Metallica.
Yeah.
And when Metallica, what they did, they went all that time without putting out an album, and then they put out an album, wait 4 or 5 years, whatever it is, put out another album. And it's like everything they do is a gimmick. Like James Hetfield now smoking cigars before shows and lighting cigars for the fans at a couple different shows. Is that what you're doing now? It's please, come on.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on the Metallica thing. I find them to be pompous and arrogant, and I can't get into them. And yes, Frankie, I love Bradley Gilbert. If I'm not mistaken, he does one, "Bury Me Upside Down," I think is the name of it. "Bury Me Upside Down," so the world can kiss my ass. Is one of my. I think that's his. So yeah, again, I love metal, and I will always listen to it, and it'll always be a big part of my youth and my growing up. And the little bit I played in the band in my life has been metal music, so I'm thrilled and happy with it. But I've definitely, like you, I've kind of wanted to branch out. I can't listen to a lot of new stuff, and I just found myself listening to Big and Rich and Trace Adkins and Toby Keith, and there's some really good music out there on the countryside that it's what I love about it, Jeff. It's all pro-American. There's none of that bullshit. I don't have to listen to any woke shit, and it's just good old American music. So that's.
I just can't.
Yeah, I get it. I believe me. I thought so too, and it was only there's a band called Big and Rich, that they do the theme song for the college football show on Sundays, and it's a version of their own song that they kind of changed for it. And then I went back and found them, and I like some of their stuff. And then I started this channel on Pandora, and I started playing all the stuff. And I've kind of just fallen in love with it. It's kind of all still new. I've even sat down. I've started to learn a couple of songs just because I like them so much. So I'm just saying, playing a little bit more lately, and instead of learning the same old songs or relearning the same old songs, I'm picking some new ones, and it just happened to be some country music that I'm having some fun with. But again, back to the Greta Van Fleet thing, I don't understand it. I think they suck. I think they're a bad imitation of a band I don't like in Led Zeppelin. And I guess if you're grasping for straws for some sort of new hard rock or metal band, and that's your answer, to me. And then, Jeff, this has nothing to do with the guy being gay. I had no idea he was gay.
No, listen, you don't have to explain to me. I don't care if the singer for Greta Van Fleet is gay. Actually, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to go out on a limb on this one, and you could file this one away for somewhere down the line and see if I'm right. I bet he's going to be all confused and come out as a bisexual. That'll be the next move.
Yeah.
Because I just think that, they came out, they really didn't take off like they thought they were going to take off. They were doing a tour. They just seemed to tour a lot, but like, who the fuck wants to watch these these 4 guys? They believe they're all brothers. I think like only one of them wears shoes. The last thing I want to do is watch 4 barefoot men play Led Zeppelin covers.
Yeah.
It got old quick. I don't want to hear it. I don't care about it. I don't need to see it. I really don't care. And I think I have one of their songs on my phone, if that. And listen, if you don't think that you don't sound like Led Zeppelin, then I really don't know what to tell you, because I just don't know. I don't know. But I don't see any place, and I don't see anybody running around saying, Greta Van Fleet, man, they're great. They're the greatest thing in the world. And, I don't even know where you're touring, who you're touring with.
Yeah, I don't know either. And you know what? Like I said, I love metal music. I tried for a long time, for well over a decade, over the last 15 years, to try and stay on top of some of the new music coming out for the old bands. I've got a whole collection of CDs from the stuff from the new Maiden and the new Priest, the new Skid Row stuff, all those TT Quicks, and Accept. The only ones I'll tell you that came out that I thought were great were the new Accept albums. The first three with the new singer, I thought were fantastic. And if you get a chance, I thought fairs wear boots. I don't know.
Yes, they do.
I got it.
Yes, they
I
do.
got it. Nice. That's a good one, Chris.
Listen, do you know who that is?
That's what you work with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
How's
think
the
that's
chickens doing, man?
That's very funny. That's very funny. But yeah, I mean, if you guys get a chance, go back to that. The first three albums of the new Accept stuff. I can't think of the guy's name. I interviewed him.
Mark, what the fuck was his name? He was in TT Quick.
Yes. Mark Tornillo. That's it. Yes, Mark Tornillo.
Oh,
I interviewed him. He was an electrician, going to go back to being an electrician when he got the offer. And I gotta tell you, their first three albums with him were fantastic. Blind Rage, Stalingrad, I think it is, and the first one escapes me. Fantastic stuff. Yeah.
I just saw today Granny Four Barrel.
Oh, really? Come on.
Yes, it's called Kill. What the fuck is it called? I can't. Trying to see.
Under the Granny Four Barrel or
Killington Pit.
Okay, I have to look them up.
Yeah,
he was actually a good singer and a great dude.
Now, you like my boots, Christopher? Thank you.
I don't think he's out. I think he's still in Accept right now. I don't think he's out. I think he's still Mark Tornillo.
I thought there was a new. I thought he had a new band or some shit, or he left.
Mark Tornillo? I don't know.
But
I'm gonna look it up right now.
The Killington band there, Granny Four Barrels old band.
Yeah,
they were doing Balls to the Wall.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's see. Right now, he is still listed on their Wikipedia page as the singer, Mark Tornillo.
All right. I had heard, I don't know. You lose track with them now. I thought he was out of Accept.
Yeah, I'm here. Let me look up that album. So, Blood of the Nations. Guys, I would tell you.
That's a good album.
Blood of the Nations is probably the best new metal album from an old band, and that's 2010. That's how far back that album goes. That is the best album from a metal band over the last 15 years. Easily the best album. And I've listened to all the Maiden albums, Final Frontiers, and all Book of Souls, the new Metallica, even Hardwire was okay.
Fuck that.
The new Priest, all of it was okay. It was okay. Blood of the Nations is a seriously good album. Go get that one. If you're a metal fan and you haven't listened to Blood of the Nations with Mark Tornillo, he's got a little bit of Udo in him, but he actually can sing. Where Udo was always not a good singer.
I didn't think Udo was bad.
He wasn't terrible. Frankie, that was Firepower. I think it was that Firepower, because you're right, a good album. But I would tell you, I listened to that album twice on vinyl. I couldn't name one song from it. And it was a good album. It just, none of it sticks with you. I did the last 2 or 3 Kiss albums. Terrible. Not bad music. It just, there was nothing that went just, I got to hear that song again. I got to listen to that album again. So, but Blood of the Nations from Accept, if you haven't heard it, I'm telling you, even Jeff will agree that that's a good album.
Yeah, that's a really good album, man.
Yeah.
There's a song on there, Time Machine, I think it's called, man. It's really good.
Yeah. So if you get a chance, go back and listen to that. The Greta Van Fleet thing, I could care less. Here's what most bands don't understand.
Anima.
I don't care what you do on your personal time. I don't care if Steve Harris from Iron Maiden is bisexual, transsexual. I could care less who does what. Put out good music. The fact that you have to announce to me, I mean, think about it. I went 30 years, didn't pay attention to the fact that Rob Halford may be gay or is gay. Didn't pay attention that Klaus Meine may be gay or may not be gay. I could care less. I didn't care.
Too?
I believe so, yeah. I could care less that whether Ronnie James Dio was married or unmarried. Play good music and don't preach to me. I could care less. And I think any good normal person will feel the same way. Frankie, I love you, and I am a Kiss fan, but boy, oh boy, I gotta tell you, Monster and the other one they did. Oh my God, they should burn. They should burn those. And I believe he is. Look that up. I could be wrong on the Klaus Meine.
Matter of fact, that there's hardly any Wikipedia anything for him.
I'm telling you, I'm almost positive that that's true, but I could be off on that part. If it's not ear candy, it's Adam. That's to me that's how I feel. I feel like if it's got to have a hook. It's got to kind of snatch you. And
he's not gay.
He's not.
No, he's not gay.
All right. I thought for some reason
that's like a foot taller than him.
Okay. All right. So good for him. My apologies. But again, I could care less if they're straight.
On record is saying I think that hat he wears all the time is gay.
Yeah, I would say yes. That probably qualifies him. But yeah, I think your original point was accurate. If you've got to make an announcement that you're coming out of the closet as a band member, I think you're doing it just to garner some sort of sympathy or something from a community to get some attention for your band. Because to me, who cares?
Listen, man, there's always going to be some way to get people involved. And like I said, for all you know, this kid might have been swinging for more than one vine for a while. And, all right, guys, I'll take the hit on this one. And what difference does it make? Because now he's either going to become more famous and his band will make it, or if that don't work, he just has a new influx of penises in his inbox. What can I tell you? So it's a win-win for him, really.
Yeah. I just, to me, it's useless, and I don't know why that needs to be a headline. To me, if the band's good, I don't really care. I don't care. I went 100 years not knowing if Paul Stanley was actually gay, pretended to be gay, what side of the fence he swung on, if not both. Could care less. I was a Kiss fan. I'm a Kiss fan. It didn't matter. I don't know.
There was talk of Paul Stanley being
a lot of people, because of the way he kind of moved and acted, some people thought that he tasted of the man flesh.
Really?
Yes. I didn't necessarily think that way. And I believe he's married, has kids and all that. But if you watch Paul Stanley in concert or there is a little bit of the thought process. Me, could care less. But
I don't know, man. I don't know, Frank. I'm beginning to think after what Tommy said. I know Tommy's a big Kiss fan too, and for him to come out and say that about Paul Stanley, it might be true. Matter of fact, one or the other is true. It's either Paul Stanley's gay or Russell Wilson sucks. It's got to be one of those two.
It's one or the other at this point.
One or the other.
Hard Rock and Sports, Jeff and Tom. We're going to wrap this up in a few minutes. But, yeah, again, I think if you got to come out and you got to make bold statements to get some interest in your band, you probably should wrap it up and call it a day. And I could care less that the lead singer of Greta Van Fleet is gay, straight, or whatever. His band sucks.
Man, so much for Kiss.
he showed you where his loyalty is, Jeff.
Wow. Wait till Paul hears this.
Exactly. I want to end the show on this one. I don't know if you saw it. I made a post about it yesterday, but I don't know if you're familiar with this whole Michael Orr lawsuit against the people who adopted or conservatorshiped him from the movie The Blind Side. Have you paid attention to that at all?
No.
All right. So, do you know who Michael Orr is? Do you know the movie The Blind Side? Yeah, there it is. I'm telling you, it's already.
I don't know what you're talking about. All I did was I'm reading something on the back of this.
Yeah, I would tell you. I would tell you that you're if that's your big announcement. I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. But listen, you announce whatever you got to announce, whatever you want.
I didn't announce anything.
I didn't say you did.
I'm reading something on the back of this. That's all I do. I don't understand what you're talking about.
Whatever. So Michael Orr, do you know the movie The Blind Side at all?
I know Sandra Bullock or whatever put out an album. Was in a movie or something. I don't know.
Yes. So anyway, Michael Orr was a troubled teen, supposedly homeless, a well-to-do family. Took him in, got him into school, got him a better education, kind of changed his life around. He went on to play at a big school in college, went into the pros, became a better than average, maybe a Pro Bowl tackle, the whole bit. Michael Orr played for the Ravens. He played, I think, for the Panthers. I think he did the 2 or 3 teams, but a fairly good career. Now he's suing his parents for the simple fact that he feels that they screwed him out of all this money that they didn't get, all this stuff. And it's actually, I don't even care about that end of it. But because he's suing them, some woke morons decided that Sandra Bullock should give back her Oscar that she won for that. I don't know if she won Best Supporting Actor or I don't know what it was, but she should give that back because of this. And for the life of me, Jeff, I don't understand. What does the fact that this guy's suing his adoptive parents have to do with Sandra Bullock giving back the Oscar? And it goes back to how we opened the show tonight with a couple of morons say these things, and all of a sudden it builds into something. And I'm waiting for Sandra Bullock to come out and go, "You're right, I have to give this back because it's not right that I took this Oscar." I don't understand the theory behind this one.
Who the fuck knows? I never watched the movie. Whatever. What makeup is the entry? I think I know where that was a shot across the bow to somebody, man.
Yes, I think it goes back to the picture, Chris. And yes, I agree with you, Adam. Let alone she is a top Wow Gal 5 list. So yeah, I was a bit irked that she got pulled into it. Yeah, I don't understand why she got pulled into it, but it's the woke culture.
It's fucking retarded. Just because who even gives a fuck? Who cares? I didn't watch the movie. I didn't even know what the movie was about. To me, I know it was about football, but
it's an excellent movie. It's one of those movies. It's an excellent movie, believe me. And she did a great job. And I didn't even know she won an Oscar for it. But if she did, good for her. She did a good job with the movie. I don't think it was an Oscar-winning performance, but if somebody gave her an Oscar, but the fact that there might be a legal issue between these people, and now you're asking her to give back the Oscar for it, makes zero sense, and it goes back to the woke culture. Yeah, so it's just another addition of the woke culture rearing its ugly head. But oh boy, the actor who played Michael Orr said stop being sure, and Frankie's completely right. If Michael Orr wants to sue them and he could prove some sort of malfeasance and all of that, by all means, do what you got to do, get your money.
She isn't doing anything. Let her sell the Oscar, make a little money on the side.
Yeah, I don't know what she's doing with it, but I pray to God that we don't get a press conference from Sandra Bullock next week and go, "Oh, I feel terrible. I have to give back this Oscar. I don't feel right." I would tell you, if I saw that at that point, just burn the cities down, just start all over again. Let's take this whole thing and move it to a different place.
As it is.
Yeah, it's just if that happens, I'm ready to just burn it down and call it a day. I've had enough at this point. It's bad enough. You got to deal with the likes of the people we deal with in government today, both sides of the aisle. Sometimes the woke culture is just being fed by this kind of stupid bullshit. So anyway, I don't know. That's all I got, Jeff. I don't know if you want to bring anything else up before we go. You got any other stories or anything you want to put up there? Now's the time before we call it a day.
No, I'm just looking at this. I don't.
Not even going to acknowledge what we already know.
Oh yeah, this is a sticker I'm putting on my truck tomorrow.
I'm not even going to acknowledge it. Whenever you want to announce the revitalized
no.
morons,
No.
Do what you have to do.
Nothing of that nature, Thomas.
Well,
Nothing of that nature.
If those are the nuggets you're dropping, we're not buying into it.
I'm not dropping any nuggets, man. I will drop this nugget. You ready?
Go ahead.
September 2nd, Richmond County Fair, 25 missions. October 21st, something is a brewing. November 23rd. And then December 30th. November 25th, I'm sorry. Yep. And December 30th. Those are dates to be on the lookout for.
Yeah, look out for the new Remorons band.
No.
Right. I'm officially telling you. I figured it out last night. I figured it out. I sat back and I figured it out. And And then today was the confirmation.
Well, first of
whatever.
all, listen, you like the Pink Panther. What was his name? Peter Sellers?
Yes.
That was his real name. What was
Inspector Clouseau. Inspector
There you
Clouseau.
go. Well, listen to me, Inspector. You're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
You're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
You're wrong.
I'm 100% correct.
You're 100% wrong.
100%
I just gave you 2 of the shows.
Yeah.
2 of the 4 shows. Who was involved?
You didn't tell me anybody. You told me 25 Missions is doing
Right.
at least one of those shows. Okay.
At least 2 of those shows.
Okay. So then, and somebody else is doing another show. So on the anniversary of last year's debut of the Remorons, at the very least, the Remorons will be back in some form playing another show.
Well, that's not necessarily true.
I think it's 100. The fact that
I didn't say you're the one saying Remoron. I didn't say Remorons.
Okay, whatever.
I did not say Remorons.
I didn't say you
once did I ever say Remorons.
I didn't say you did. I am saying it. I will say it for Jeff. Make sure December 30th, probably at Mother Pug's, pre-New Year's Eve thing. The Remorons will be back.
Oh, shouldn't you be down the fucking yacht club or something? Put your phone down.
Yes. It's a multicolored one that he'll be putting on the truck. Yes, got unicorns and rainbows all over it. So with the new rims, by the way. He got it free he got a free flag with the new rims.
I got somebody buying the old rims tomorrow.
There you go.
I swear to God.
I'm not doubting it. You're probably using it to pick up. You'll probably take the truck and go pick up the rest of the Remorons.
That ain't all around. They're not all around.
Huh? I said the new band. There's a new version of Remorons.
There's not. You can think whatever you want, Thomas.
All right.
Whatever you want. I can tell you this much right now. Okay. When you're wrong, I want you to come here on a Thursday night. Okay. I want you to stand up out of your seat so you're nice and attention, and I want you to apologize to me.
I will tell you that yes, I promise you, if my theory is incorrect, I will be the first one to apologize, and I will eat shit right out of the air.
I'm not looking to eat any shit, man.
But I will tell you that I'm not wrong. The Remorons are back. It's a new version. I would imagine there's at least one new member, and we will December 30th, at the very least, if that's the only show they're playing, it would be the anniversary. They December 30th last year, I believe it was. They played at the last night of Richie Holmes's place. What was it? Juicy Lucy. I was there that night. I got to see the inaugural show. They did a great job. The band was fantastic. And
yeah. Oh, all right. But he's actually standing on a box, man.
Yes. Yes. I'm jumping as we do the show so I can stay above the camera level. But so be ready for the new announcement from Jeff about the new Remorons band. And,
there is no new Remorons band.
There will be a new Remorons band.
Okay. Whatever. Listen, when you're proven wrong, you're just going to have to eat it. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, I agree, Frankie. I agree. Yes, there's going to be a new version. There'll be Remorons 2.0 or however you say it. And we'll get
this much. I'll tell you, he better fucking show up to one of these shows. He knows about all of them. He ain't ever showed up to anything yet.
Frankie, you want to go? I'll pick you up. We'll meet along the way. We'll drive out to Staten Island to go to see the Remorons for December 30th together if you want. So,
December 30th. Well, listen, that's fine.
I didn't say it
was going to be the Remorons, though, did I?
You didn't have to say it. I'm saying it. Me. I'm saying it's the Remorons. So that's my prediction.
I know, Chris. I love that dude. I love that you're having a good time every day. You have no idea how good I feel for you, man. You know that I hate it there. When you left, beautiful. I loved it, man. I love it. I really do. This guy is a great guy. He would be at work. I'd come in every day in the office. I'd be like, "What's up, Chris?" He'd look up from his phone, and you wouldn't know was he in a good mood or a bad mood. And the worse off he looked, the better of a mood he was in.
Well, that's kind of the same look Jeff's got. So good luck to everybody on that one. And Chris, thanks for popping up this week. Guys, we're here every Thursday night. Me and Jeff, we do this from 7 to 9-ish. And again, be on the lookout. Jeff's going to have the big announcement soon.
Tomorrow's Saturday. You better check your calendar, bro.
Yeah, you better check your calendar, pal. Yeah. Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, so but Thursday nights. Next week, I'll kind of give you guys a tour of the Hard Rock and Sports Studios.
I understand what he's saying. Tomorrow is Saturday. Every day is Saturday for Chris.
Yeah, I guess Chris is retired. So, but listen, we're gonna end the show on that note. Be on the lookout for Jeff's big announcement for the Remorons. And in the meantime, Jeff, I'll give you the final word for this week.
No, that's it, man. There's nothing more to say. Right?
Yep,
I will say this much.
Okay.
Let's make sure we're there in December, huh?
Well, again, I'm looking forward to another Remoron show. So, guys,
it was Remoron. So remember, I didn't say it was. I'm looking on this. I got to try to figure out how to put this sticker on.
You can keep showing anything you want. That's fine. You can deny it and all that good shit. We're all past it, and now it should just come out and announce who. Bring the guys on. Come on the show one week with everybody and talk about the new band and who's in it and all the new set and all that good stuff.
I'll tell you what. Next week I'll have some more information for you. I'll string you along another week.
You ain't got to string us on. We all know already. We all got to figure it out.
Adam, please keep doing what you do all week long, bro. You sometimes get me out of a deep funk with everything you post in there. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, we all know Adam's obsession.
Adam's love for for Miss Aniston.
Yes, so keep that up, Adam. Thanks to Adam and Frankie and Chris and Pete and everybody else. Guys, we've gotten some great numbers the last couple of weeks. I showed Jeff. We're getting a lot of people stopping by, even though they don't acknowledge it on the comment section. There's a lot of people tuning in every week, and we're really surprised by it, as we always are, but we're very glad to have it happen. So keep it up, everybody. Keep coming back. We'll see you. We'll do this again next week. So I hope you guys have a great week. Let's do it this way. Have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week, a great weekend, great next week. We'll see you back here next Thursday night when Jeff and I get to do this all over again. So for Jeff Donwinski, myself, and all of us here at Hard Rock and Sports, we say thank you and have a great night. And we'll see you next Thursday night. Hefe, I'll talk to you off the air.
You got it, dude. Be good.
All right, pal. Good show. Take care.